Hello, Senacine here, and this is going to be an update on AMD and also Cherry Computer, how amazing Zen 4 and RDNA 3 is going to be. This is a tech update. Anyway, the latest news is that AMD revealed a 16-core processor that boosts up to 5.5 gigahertz. But what I really want to know is, what is the base clock on all these new 7000 series CPUs? Isn't that important? Isn't that the more important thing, so you know, like, whether your CPU is gonna draw a lot of power when it's at a higher clock? Huh? Anyway, there might be a 24-core counterpart of the AM5 lineup, and that would be the 7950X being a 24-core, and then the 7900X being a 16-core, 7800X being, of course, 8 cores, the 7900X 16 cores, 7800X 8 cores, 7600X would be 6 cores, so on and so forth. But the custom processors I've made plans to sell via AMD, which means someday I might be able to have a Zoom meeting with Lisa Su. That would be cool. With my computer company, which my colleague said, not a transit colleague, but a colleague of mine I know who's into the computer stuff, says it's on its way. So don't quote me on this. I'm still contacting that guy who's going to help. And I also am going to get help from my cousin. Anyway, enough about my business. The OEM processors that I'll have, will be renumbering them, those AMD processors, and over or underclocking them to like 80 or 125 watts or 35 watts for the low power. One of the such processors is 7470 non-K is one of them for the Ryzen 5, and it would be 8 cores instead of 6. But I don't want to confuse all you people yet before it even happens, because there's other stuff to talk about, though. Like, I'm not going to make this into a Cherry Computer video, but there's more to talk about, like RDNA 3, how amazing it's going to be with stacked up cache that will probably also appear in many Zen 4 chips. But the one downside to it that I'm going to work with Lisa Su to fix for Cherry Computer is the bus width, which is just pathetic on RDNA 3, especially compared to RDNA 1. I mean, a 128-bit 7700 XT, that's just, pathetic. But it's the other stuff in it that's going to make it faster, like infinity cache and the MCM caching. And it'll be an 8GB video card with that 128-bit bus, meaning it's less than the 6700 XT, which the 192-bit 12GB model will be the 7800 XT, and then the 7900 XT will be a 16 and 32GB 256-bit card. Now, nothing has been revealed about the mobile RDNA 3, but this one is going to be a big deal. I hope it doesn't mean expensiveness, meaning that I'm going to have to turn over the Cherry Computer products to NVIDIA because of the bandwidth. You know what I mean by bus width. And then Apple's WWDC event is coming around soon, so I'm excited for the Apple glasses. I'm excited for the Mac Pro. Please, Apple, make it a mini tower style. Mac Pro is upgradable, because people need upgradable Macs. Don't go back to before the Industrial Revolution. That's like over 200 years ago that you're trying to like copy technology from Apple. And there's all these operating systems too. And I'm looking forward to this fall when we have the M2 Macs that my company will compete with. Not to be confused with the retired M2 rail car on Metro North. Now the Mac Pro may also be an M2 Mac with 48 cores. Apple should also be developing, in my opinion, Apple should just develop an external GPU for their processors so it could be even higher performance for graphics. I guess that's all I'm going to do today. Bye. Okay, back here, Senescene. It is tomorrow, but you see I'm wearing the same earrings. I do that like a lot. Anyway, I want to also mention that a couple more things I forgot to mention in the first half, like I hope that 128 gigabyte DDR5 sticks are supported in Zen 4's chipsets. Other things I wanted to mention are like the future with Cherry Computer, the lack of the need for internet access to be on the internet. It'll just be done automatically. Kind of works right out of the box is the method for Cherry smartphones and internet devices. Other things is that there's going to be the Cherry store eventually, like in the fall, hopefully. Things aren't delayed. That means that there will be things like motherboards, CPUs, OEM CPUs that are custom to Cherry, like the Ryzen 5 7470 8-core CPU, or the 8-core Ryzen 5 7200U. That sort of stuff. And then boards that compete with Raspberry Pi that are made from ARM Qualcomm chips, which will also be used in phones. And then I heard that Zen 5 is going to be 3 nanometers, and that's just going to be amazing. It's going to provide a lot more headway room for like speed and power draw. But what we need is for the RAM to be supported at the same size as the server market on the consumer, and we also need SODIMMs that size of 128 gigabytes like we were told. I mean, haven't we been lied to about DDR5 RAM? So, get excited for the Cherry stores in the future. Just like how I'm excited to meet Lisa Sue on Zoom once we're discussing things regarding Cherry Computer. So if there are any other things to say, gotta remember them. Oh, well, I'm thinking about what to say. Here's my iPhone 4, the first iPhone I ever had. I hardly ever used it. It has the headphone jack on top. So Apple's WWDC conference is right now 8 days away. I've already mentioned the specifics, but it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it.